Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, he ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed his words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, his beloved son. And by his word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give him the stage, because he knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell his story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. He opens up to me and shows me his glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth, for him I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years he strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am his ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of his word before me.
Hey, welcome to Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports show in the world. It's Monday, December 9th, 2024, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, LOVE, love sports on the Tom the Bomb Show. I'm your host, Tommy Wood, and we got another fantastic show for you this afternoon. All right, I'm so happy to be here and so glad for you guys to join us as well. Hey, look, on the Tom the Bomb Show, what we do is we bring together my two passions, the Word of God and sports. We bring together the excitement of sports and strengthening our faith through the Word of God. So in every episode, we try to fill it with insightful sports commentary from a Christian perspective, a Christian point of view, reminding you that how we win and lose in life truly matters. Our mission is to spread the word of God, and that's what we're called to do. Every show, we want to reflect our commitment to sharing biblical truth, offering hope and encouragement. Okay, not what we think, biblical truth through Scripture, and basically, if it's relevant to the people, it's relevant on the Tom the Bomb Show. We address significant social problems, and we like to provide guidance that is based on Christian principles in order to assist individuals in navigating, the challenges that everyday life presents. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that he's already done for us in 2024. And of course, our theme for the year has been a year of fixed purpose. The year of fixed purpose, Proverbs 4:25 says, set your gaze on the path before you with fixed purpose, looking straight ahead, ignoring life's distractions, keeping our eyes on the path and looking straight ahead. It's what's going to allow us to ignore life's daily distractions. The Bible tells us that the enemy comes for the word He comes for the word immediately. Okay, it's not Tom the Bomb. It's not you. It's the word of God that the enemy comes for immediately because he doesn't want that word to take root in your life so that you can become a true disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, gang, our show is live. Okay. You guys can call in. The number here is 301 655 9992. Again, that's 301 655 9992. Or you can join us live on Facebook, or you can even catch us on YouTube now at Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And we're also on Spotify, so you can hear us in your car, your smartphone, or even on your iPad under the same name. You can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com, or you can go to our website at www.tomthebombsports.com to contact us and pick up your Tom the Bomb gear that's coming to you soon. Hey, gang, no trivia today. We had our poll question from last week, and 57% of you all thought that Travis Hunter was going to win the Heisman over Ashton Jeanty. So, a good majority of you guys, felt like that this is basically Travis Hunter's trophy to win or lose, okay? Hey, gang, what are we watching tonight? You guys know what we're watching tonight. I'm actually pretty excited about tonight's Monday night game at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm really, really looking forward to this game because I think the Bengals are going to pretty much put to rest the Cowboys' hopes. So let's get to the show. Let's start off with our show. All righty. So let's start off with the show. Our first topic is, if you guys have been watching any kind of sports, it's everywhere. Juan Soto has agreed to a record 15-year contract worth $765 million. Say that again, Tom and Bob. $765 million with the New York Mets on Sunday. The deal is pending a physical, okay? And this deal actually eclipsed the $700 million contract over 10 years, which included from Shohei Ohtani, which included significant deferrals that Shohei had signed with the Dodgers last winter. Because of the deferrals, Major League Baseball actually values Ohtani's contract. Actually, they're saying it's around $460 million in present day value. Poor Shohei, right? But Soto's deal contains an opt out after the 5th season with no deferrals. Soto can opt out of the deal after 2029. If the Mets don't increase his salary, check this out, from $51 million to $55 million over the final 10 years of the contract. So Soto's contract basically is going to pay him $305 million, including a $75 million signing bonus in the first 5 years of his deal. And that comes out to an average annual value of actually $61 million. Now, during that stretch of the contract. Now, at 26 years old, Soto gives the Mets another franchise cornerstone along with Francisco Lindor in the lineup, giving the Mets a 1-2 punch as good as any other team. If they bring the polar bear, Pete Alonso, back, then now they're starting to rival the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, and basically like what the Yankees had last season with Soto, Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton. Okay, now the Yankees pushed hard to keep Soto, offering $760 million over 16 years, more than double what the Yankees gave Aaron Judge just 9 years ago, signing him for $360 million in 2023. Soto hit 41 dingers last year with a slash line of 288, 419, and 569. Now, the Mets went big game hunting last winter against the Yankees and Dodgers, another team, and they came up empty, mainly because of geography. The guys that signed, they wanted to be on the West Coast. But not this time. The Dodgers have put the whole league on notice as to what it's going to take to win it all in 2025. So let's bring in my main man, Felix Bassey here, and let's get Felix in here and see what he has to say about this. Felix, you there? All right, let me just get you. Yeah, you there, Felix? Okay, what's your take on this gargantuous contract signed by Juan Soto, your guy, because he's initially from the Washington Nationals, and I know you're not happy that you guys keep losing your superstars from the Nationals. What's your take on it, Felix?
Well, I would say this regarding Juan Soto. First off, the Nationals losing your star players left and right, that's not news. But I'd say in terms of with regards to Juan Soto, the Mets are a team that has been coming back. Of course, they had this major turnaround from the midpoint of last season. They just kept running with it. So, of course, with Juan Soto there, do you think it's the last? You're thinking that's maybe the last step, what they need to take them maybe to the NLCS, perhaps. But at the same time, I mean, he was on the Yankees. He was on as stacked of a roster as you could get. So, I mean, that's really. I would just say if there are more questions than answers, even after this turnaround.
Well, the Yankees were only about 5 million off the deal that the Mets gave them, and I had talked about this earlier, and here's the deal: right field in Yankee Stadium is the shortest right field in all of Major League Baseball, and I think it's the difference between if if he stays in well, he's in New York, but if he stays with the Yankees, this guy's going to average he had 41 dingers this year. He's going to average 40 home runs a year if he stays with the Yankees. Moving to the Mets, he'll probably hit 25 to 30 home runs a year. I don't think he's going to be a 40 home run hitter at Met Stadium because that short right porch is just made for the poor left-handed hitter. And and don't get me wrong, 5 million ain't no chump change, but I don't know what's your thoughts on him. You think the 5 million made that much difference, Felix, to him to go to the Mets rather than staying with the Yankees?
First off, I'm going to say this. I didn't expect outfield dimensions to come up as on two consecutive episodes of Tom the Bomb. Nevertheless, after baseball season, go figure. Secondly, I would say, given the way Juan Soto hits the home runs, I'd say it's a non-factor. It's not like he's barely getting them in. So I would say the fact that he's a regular hitter, it usually goes well over. That's not a factor. And also, when it comes to money with these players, they go for every last cent. In reality, if you think about it, these players they're not really going from team to team out of need per se, if that makes any sense. So.
Mhm. Well, we're talking, baseball. Tom the Bomb's the same here. Concluding our Major League update, the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees have been announced, and Dick Allen and Dave Parker have been elected to the Hall of Fame by the Classic Era Committee. Okay. Let me just by the Classic Era Committee. Allen and Parker will be a part of the class of 2025, joining any potential inductees from the Baseball Writers Association of America Hall of Fame ballot, which will be announced on January 21st, 2025 on MLB Network. Now, Dick Allen played 15 years from 1963 to 1977 in Major League Baseball, mostly with the Phillies and later with the Chicago White Sox. He was an All-Star 7 times, and he won the AL MVP award in 1972. From 1964 to 1974, Dick Allen led Major League Baseball in the offensive WAR category with a score of 68.3 category, ahead of players like Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, Carl Yastrzemski, Joe Morgan, Enos Slaughter, Willie Stargell, and Tony Perez, all Hall of Famers. Allen was known for his monstrous home runs, hitting 18 dingers out of the stadium, okay? Twice clearing the park's 65-foot high right center field scoreboard at Connie Mack Stadium, okay? Dick Allen passed away in 2020, and when his son, Dick Allen Jr., was asked how his dad might have responded, Jr. He said humbly, and he probably would tell you a story about his horses. When he won the MVP in 1972, he never took the award. It had to be mailed to him because he just didn't like to be singled out for personal awards. Allen Sr. will be inducted in with a man known as the Cobra. Okay. The Cobra, Dave Parker. Dave Parker is flat out one of the best baseball players I ever saw. I had the pleasure of seeing Dave Parker play personally often when he was with the We Are Family Bucks. Okay, they would come to town in St. Louis against my beloved St. Louis Cardinals. Parker was an intimidating force, and he was a legitimate 5 tool player, hitting for average, power, speed, defense, and maybe the best throwing arm in baseball. Parker broke in with the Pittsburgh Pirates, but he played with six other teams, winning 2 batting titles, a National League MVP, 3 National League Gold Glove Awards, and 3 National League Silver Slugger Awards as the best offensive player in the league. Parker played 19 years with a lifetime batting average of 290. He hit 339 career home runs and he had 1,493 RBIs. He was the DH of the year in 1989 and in 1990, but it was his cannon arm, that same arm that threw out Jim Rice and Brian Downey in the 1979 All-Star game, earning MVP honors. Frank Robinson was Parker's mentor and hero, and he paid it forward to a young superstar on the rise in a 21-year-old Eric Davis in Cincinnati. And he basically became like Eric Davis' father. That's what Eric Davis said. I got a chance to, like I said, I got a chance to personally see him play, and Felix, this guy was just, he was intimidating. He was intimidating because he was a really really big guy, and he hit. And like I said, he hit for power, he hit for average, and he had speed. He was a base stealer as well. He was one of the best baseball players that I've ever seen. What's your thoughts on either one of those guys? I know Dick Allen might be before you, but do you remember Dave Parker at all, Felix, or just highlights?
I would say just in general, overall,
Mhm.
I'm just happy to hear that they're getting the recognition, even regardless of how long after retirement. And you did mention the passing of one of the players fairly recently. So of course, I'm just overall, I'm just happy to hear them get their due. And I want to go back to the part in which you said he had this trophy mailed to him rather than receive it in the open. So of course, that's an expression of humility that you don't too often see in the world of sports. So
Mhm.
just overall,
Mhm. Yeah.
I think there's not too much for me to add. It's just people got their due, and you did such a, you know, I think you just covered base with that already as it is.
The thing that shocked me though, Felix, is both of these guys are kind of going in on the senior committee, and Dick Allen was one of those guys that he didn't really get along with the writers. And the point I want to make is I think it's just crazy that these guys weren't elected into the Hall of Fame just through the players writer. The thing that I just really dislike is I really dislike when politics gets into sports. And we just got through talking about how humble a man that Dick Allen was, but yet he didn't get along with the writers, and because of that, the writers never put him in. And his son would say, well, if I don't get in, it doesn't matter. There was a lot of great ball players back then, and his son kept telling him, "But Dad, your numbers are good enough. Your numbers are good enough." And I just hate, Dick Allen passed in 2020, and he's going in 2025, and he doesn't get a chance to take that. Now, I just don't know what the deal was with the Cobra with Dave Parker, because his numbers, he was on a Ken Griffey Jr. trajectory, before some injuries kind of slowed him down. So with both of them, I don't understand how either one of these guys just didn't go through the regular way through the writers committee. But like I said, I kind of hate that when politics gets involved. Hey Felix, again, there's a rumor out there that the NBA has started. But I wouldn't know because Tom the Bomb, you know, you know, Tom the Bomb doesn't pay any attention to the NBA until it gets near the playoff time, or at least past halfway point. And I'd probably watch more, Felix, if Washington had an NBA team. The Wizards didn't win a single game in the month of November. I kid you not. So quickly, let's talk about the LA Fakers. Okay. We're not going to touch the farce of LeBron James holding the Lakers hostage and making them draft his son. We not going there. Now, I'm not drafting his son. Probably no. I wouldn't touch that with a 20-foot pole. But but the Fakers are struggling on defense, and they need defensive help. So with that being said, what are the Fakers going to do? Well, the rumor mill has it that the LA Fakers, check this out, Felix, are interested in acquiring the Golden State Warriors reject, Jordan Poole from the lowly Washington Wizards. The Poole boy is averaging 20 points and 5 assists a game while shooting 42% from the 3-point line. Now, it would address the Lakers' cold shooting from deep. The Fakers believe that Poole would accept a reduced role as a third option behind LeBron and AD. But most believe he'll accept the get out of jail free card to escape from the purgatory known as the Washington Wizards. After leaving a championship caliber team with the Golden State Warriors, Poole should jump at the chance to reestablish himself on a winning team. Uh, Also, I'm just going to throw a lot of stuff at you and get your feedback on this, fellas. Also, Chris Paul has passed Jason Kidd for second in career NBA assist leaders with 12,092 dimes, trailing only the great John Stockton, who is the all-time leader with 15,806 assists over 19 NBA seasons. What's your take on the rumor that the Fakers may be interested in Jordan Poole and Chris Paul? What's your take on that, Felix?
I would say that it makes sense, but at the same time, I know that if the Wizards are to agree with this trade, now that you're asking for, as it stands right now, you're asking for two players that the Wizards need. But as for the Wizards, they're in such a situation where they need to. This has to be mutually beneficial. I don't really see this trade happening between either team, unless again, so the Lakers they want to bolster the star power, and they want to take the only stars the Wizards have. So unless they're offering LeBron, which I know they're not going to do.
Well, I'm sorry, Phil. I neglected to mention that the Lakers were offering up Gabe Vincent and their point guard DeAndre, I think it's Russell, DeAndre Russell, I think that's his name, and they're also offering a second round pick. So they're offering up a second round pick, DeAndre Russell and Gabe Vincent. And the big thing is, the Poole boy has $100 million contract. Okay, so that would get that 100 million off the Wizards, so it'll free them up to kind of make some wheels and deals. And the Lakers are willing to take on that $100 million contract, and they know that the Poole boy brings some baggage with him, so it may mess up their chemistry. But they're willing to gamble on that because they need the outside shooting. So that's who they're offering up. I'm sorry for not mentioning who they were offering up to get the Poole boy to come to the Lakers. So what's your thought on Gabe Vincent and Russell and money and the draft pick?
The point still stands. I honestly think that the Wizards. I think that the Wizards need much more than that, and also I don't think that trading for a draft pick that's much of anything, because if you look at the Wizards, they've been fully invested in the draft over the last half decade plus. Look at the average person on the team. The average member for the Washington Wizards, average, not the youngest, the average was born in 2002. Mm-hmm. So clearly they've tried their luck in the draft market, and it has not panned out. And the thing about going for the draft is that you're taking a chance on people who've not been tested at the NBA level.
Mhm.
Sure, they succeeded in college. Maybe they've played in some program if they didn't go to a US NCAA school. But the fact of the matter is that does not always translate in league success. So, based on what I'm hearing, no, I don't think the Wizards should take the cheese here. So, that's
Well, it's not like they're one of the shrewd organizations in the NBA.
now I get that.
Like I said, Washington has a team. Yeah, actually, they actually do. Hey, look, let's take a break, and we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to be talking NFL. So you NFL junkies, get ready out there.
For about half the cost of national brands, you get equal, if not better quality, saving you thousands of dollars. Right now, get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Plus, put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 24 months. Get a free in-home estimate and we'll give you a free gas card. Go to windownation.com for additional details or call 866-95-NATION.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and insatiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
And we're back. All righty, let's get to the football. Let's start off with Thursday night football. We have the Detroit Lions squeaked by the Green Bay Packers in a thriller, 34-31. The Lions, like the Chiefs, like Mother Wiggs Chiefs, are winning games in every way imaginable. They're winning when they aren't playing well, and they're winning when they're playing well. In a huge conference game that was very, very entertaining. The Lions outlasted the Packers. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Coach Dan Campbell, Felix. His go for it all at all cost attitude. I know he cost the Lions last year in the NFC Championship game against my beloved 49ers. Like in the movie Tin Cup, it says sometimes par is good enough to win. Well, kicking the field goal is good enough to win. You don't have to go for it on fourth down every time. Tin Cup, okay? I'm being nice, Felix. I'm not really saying what I really want to say about Dan Campbell. What was your take on the Steelers and the Packers game, and what we're talking about Dan Campbell's go for it all the time on fourth down? What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think that's going to catch up with them at some point or another. I mean, to be fair, when you're a good team like the Detroit Lions, you're able to pull this off with your level of talent. That's going to work in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, you're going to play some of the closest games. I know the NFL, especially in the current age, almost every single game comes down to last minute, last drive, what have you. But when you're playing these kind of games and you're playing them against the best of the best, while the teams are locked in, as they say, when they're zeroed in with their focus, eventually that risk taking, unnecessary risk taking is going to catch up to them. So honestly, I think Dan Campbell's risk taking, if no one talks to him about it sooner or later, I think that might be the difference. I think that might cost Detroit their chance of winning a Super Bowl. And I think they're good enough to actually pull that off, believe it or not. So that could be the very thing that's their proverbial buzzsaw.
That's my concern also. And see, when he's doing this in the regular season, it's the regular season and you have more games. But when you get in a do or die situation like last year, man, I watched that game and Detroit had my 49ers beat, man. They had them. And even right now, I can't believe the 49ers won that game. And they had some breaks go their way. But some of those calls and going for it on fourth down against the 49ers, I think it really, really cost them. And I think when it moves on, I think it's going to eventually cost the Detroit Lions later on down the road. Let's move on to our next game, Felix. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. And the Steelers got their revenge on the Browns 27-14. The Steelers now have a 2-game lead over everyone's pick, the Baltimore Ravens, to win that division. Another fantastic job by Mike Tomlin, who has to be getting votes as NFL Coach of the Year. It's unbelievable what he's done this year, and it's really unbelievable what he's done over his whole career. What's your thoughts on that, Felix?
Honestly, I think you put it best. You just look at what Mike Tomlin has done, not just this season, not just last season, but just overall, last 17 years. The man's been coaching for this might surprise people. The better part of 20 years hasn't had a single losing season. So at first you'd figure, of course, he's a good coach, but the talent's carrying him. He had one of the best most talented rosters in the NFL in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Then that went away. Then he had an average, maybe marginally good roster. He didn't have even if he missed the playoffs in certain years, he never had a losing season. And moreover to this year, you're seeing him get the most. You get the absolute most out of Russell Wilson. Even when he had Justin Fields starting earlier this year, I feel people have already forgotten about him. Justin Fields, that is. You saw his coaching, what he was doing for the team, take the Steelers, again, manage the games, take the Steelers over the hump and win those games. And with Russell Wilson, people were thinking his career was over, that he was washed. But I said it myself, the problem was the management in Denver. There's no way. I have to be honest with you. As much as you want to put the onus on Russell Wilson for calling the same Seattle audibles, I know I'm going a mile a minute here, but as much as people want to put it on Russell Wilson, it was really the coach's job to fix that when he was in Denver. And I think that, again, people thought Russell Wilson was washed. I really thought that, you just put him in a better system, it's going to pan out. And that's what we're seeing with him in Pittsburgh.
Well, I say all the time, the systems really make the quarterbacks. You can take any quarterback and put them in the wrong system. And I mean, look at Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? People are like, wow, what's going on? He's in the right system. If you take Joe Montana, who is the GOAT, and you put him in the wrong system, if you don't have him at Bill Walsh in San Francisco, he may never be Joe Montana. Okay, so the system is critical, and that guy never wanted Russ there because I kept saying there's no way because Russ was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and then all of a sudden in 1 year he forgot how to play football, and I just didn't buy that. So I'm in agreement with you on that, Felix. Let's move to our next game. The New Orleans Saints beat the New York Giants 14-11 in a very, very forgettable game. If I had to watch this game or go to the MVA or go to the dentist for a root canal, I don't think I would have picked watching the game. And I do want to say this, that special teams won and lost this game, Felix. And it's amazing how that this part of the game keeps getting overlooked. And week in and week out, we keep seeing these teams lose these games from special teams. What was your take on this game as the Saints won by default 14-11?
I would say that it comes down to the smallest detail in the sport of football.
the sport of football, it's about domino effects. And in reality,
Mhm.
it's always one missed field goal, one missed extra point, a dropped pass that's really the difference between winning and losing. And that field goal, as you saw, that was the difference for New Orleans. For the Giants. And honestly, again, just overall, I'm looking at this game. The Saints are a team. I've seen them explode before this year. I've seen what they can do. But the fact of the matter is, we're kind of up and down. And to make matters worse, we're starting quarterback Derek Carr. He's most likely out for the season. So that's something really sad. But to be honest with the Saints, the fact that they were struggling with the Giants, it tells me a lot about that team. The problems are a lot deeper than originally believed.
I agree. Let's move on to our next game, Felix. The Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. The Dolphins hung on to their playoff life, beating the terrible Jets 32-26 in overtime. Tua probably won't win the NFL MVP, but he's surely the Miami Dolphins' most valuable player. They're just a different team with him on the field. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are officially eliminated from the playoffs. What's next? They have missed the playoffs, Felix, for the 14th straight season. Remember earlier they were going to be the AFC champs and maybe go to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers this year. Yeah, right. What was
from the sports then?
but you know what? It really was a good game, and actually for the last 2 weeks, the Jets really should have won the last 2 games. They should have beat Seattle last week, and they should have beat Miami. What's your take on this?
Honestly speaking, Seattle and Miami, these are two teams with weaknesses. So, of course, I would say I wouldn't put too much stock into that. I wouldn't say that's what makes the Jets a formidable team, as some people would argue. But I'd say this: they're not without talent, and let's not forget they have Aaron Rodgers. Even though he's not 2011 Aaron Rodgers, even though Aaron Rodgers was kind of on a downward skid his last 2 years with the Packers, he's still Aaron Rodgers. So,
well, I don't know about that, Felix. I don't think he is Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's the problem. I disagree with you on that one, man. Because last year the Jets had the worst quarterbacking in all of the NFL, and Aaron Rodgers' production is actually worse than what it was last year when he wasn't there. So, I think the problem is that he's not Aaron Rodgers, that he's not who he thinks he is. That's my thought on it.
wow.
Hey, let's move on. Hey, look, let's move on to our next game. As Tom the Bomb predicted, the Jacksonville Jaguars got a W, beating the Titans 10-6, ending their 5-game losing streak. Finally being rewarded after putting in the works. The Jags seem to lose even when they win. They should be tanking for a draft pick now. So it's like even when they win, they end up losing. Did you have any thoughts on this one, Felix? I know it was kind of a snoozer. Did you have any thoughts on this one?
I would say this. This is the first time the Jaguars won a game scoring 10 or fewer points in the last 4 years, which is shocking because last time Washington won a game by scoring 10 or fewer, this was all the way back in 2010. It was 7-3 against the Rams, week 2 of that 2009. But don't ask how I remember that.
I love that encyclopedia mind when it comes to Washington sports. You are the man. If you guys aren't checking out the Washington Sports Den on Thursdays at 2 p.m., you guys are missing it, man. Because this dude is an encyclopedia when it comes to the DMV sports. You guys got to check him out. I'm telling you. Tom the Bob is telling you. Checks in the mail, right, Felix?
Right. I would say this about the Jaguars. This is just indicative of their issues with offense and their perennial issues. And with the Titans, again, it shows that the Titans are worse than we even thought. So that's kind of the long and short of it.
Yeah, well, let's move on. I also told you that the Vikings would move to 11-2, and they did, defeating the Falcons 42-21. Captain Kirk Cousins' revenge game uh, didn't quite turn out like he would have liked it to. Okay, instead, it was Sam Darnold's 347 yards passing and 5 TD pass stealing the headlines from Cousins' revenge game. Sam Darnold set a Vikings passing record for the most games with a passer rating over 100 with his over 100 with his 10th game, and he's done it in just his first 13 games with the team. Felix, he's easily having his best season ever with the quarterback whisperer, Coach Kevin O'Connor, reviving his career. And this is just what we're talking about. Sam Darnold was a bust, a total bust, and now he's actually in the running. You know, he's not going to win, but he's actually in the running for the MVP because now he's in the right system. What's your thoughts on Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, in this game? The Vikings winning 42-21, and the game was closer than what the scores showed. The Vikings kind of blew it open at the end. What was your thoughts on this one, Felix?
Well, I think it's just more of the same with regards to Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins, like I said, since he was in Washington, he is a talented quarterback. I actually said this way back, like preseason 2012. It was one game he was playing, like it was last preseason. I was like, this guy's really talented. Like I knew how talented he was, but his issues that he would keep making crucial errors, interceptions at the wrong time. And I remember a conversation I had with a friend back when I was this is just years ago. He was like, Kirk Cousins, oh, he's the best. He's this, that, and the third. And I just remember telling them at the lunch table, I was like, hey, you do realize that almost every single loss we had this season was because of a Kirk Cousins interception, right? Then he thought about it. So it's really more of the same. And you're seeing it replay. You've seen it replay in Minnesota. Now you're seeing it with Atlanta. And the thing is, he can't get away with it in Atlanta because the talent isn't going to pick up the slack, so to speak, over there.
Felix, Dr. Lauren thinks that, you know, Kirk suffered a serious injury last year, and Dr. Lauren thinks that he may not be fully healed. On where I think is he just doesn't handle pressure up the middle like a lot of quarterbacks don't. What's your take on it? Do you think he's maybe still hurt, or he's just not handling the pressure because he hasn't played well lately? What's your thoughts?
That's a solid theory. You never really know, and athletes do have a habit of rushing back onto the field. Even when I did play baseball, if I was hurt, I'd always want to run back. So I understand that, but at the same time, I'm looking at Kirk Cousins. This doesn't really look different than any other year he's played. The only difference is the talent. Again, he doesn't have a Justin Jefferson to make a spectacular catch when he just heaves it over the middle. It's not like in Washington where he had, okay, Deshaun Jackson or Pierre Garçon is going to blow it open on certain weeks. He doesn't really have that safety blanket. So it's kind of more of the same, but it's worse because, again, this is probably the worst offense he's ever been given in his whole career.
Okay, Phyllis, look, we're going to get you out on this one. I know you got to run, but we're going to get you out on this one. Let's go to our next game. The Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Panthers showed a lot of heart, okay, but they fell a little short, losing to the Eagles 22-16. They gave Philly all they wanted, man. And Saquon Barkley kept the heat on Josh Allen for the MVP, putting up another game over 100 yards rushing with 20 carries for 124 yards rushing. And he's also set a new Eagles single season rushing record in his first year in Philly. The Eagles also set a club record with their 9th straight win. Jalen Hurts has been nearly flawless with 20 TD passes and just 2 interceptions in the last 9 to 10 games. On the side, Felix, a bettor in Kentucky made a seismic wager of $3.1 million on the Eagles to win, making it the largest bet ever made on an NFL regular season game. The bettor netted, he was sweating it out because as you know, this game, Carolina really should have won. But the bettor netted it out, and basically he roughly earned $442,800 on the wager. What's your take on this game, Felix?
I would say overall, aside from Saquon Barkley, the Panthers outplayed the Eagles in this game. Jalen Hurts, he's a talented quarterback. Take nothing from him, but at the same time, I don't even think he threw for up to 100 yards in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if there's any question, which I doubt that there was, Saquon Barkley right now is the driving force of the Philadelphia Eagles' success. And I just want to get to the Panthers, that last drive. I just have to question some of the play calling that I'm seeing on these 4th down or 3rd and short situations.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a situation where you only need 4 yards, you have timeouts on the board, or you can spike it, you don't need to have all of your options out deep. You need at least, I would say, at least one that's around the stick or over the stick, just over. I saw them go all out with their wide receivers. They were all deep, and I was just wondering, why do that? Like, when you can just hit someone in the middle, and of course they're not going to guard that zone as well. That's just not how it happens. So that's just something that I picked up on. I don't know if anyone else noticed that or was making a big deal, but I'd say that's what bothered me about the whole game.
Hey, man, the Panthers had them beat, man. This kid Leggett, he dropped the game-winning touchdown at the end of the game. They had the Eagles beat. If you go back a week or two, they also almost had Mother Wiggs' Kansas City Chiefs beat. So all of a sudden, Bryce Young has went from being demoted and out of Carolina to now again being the franchise quarterback of the future. And I'm glad to see him get a second chance. Hey man, that's what it's all about, man. How we win and lose in life truly matters. And I love to see Bryce Young come back and fight back and show the that made him the number 1 overall pick. But the Panthers should have won that game, Felix.
Right.
Yeah. Hey man, look, I appreciate you as usual. I know you got to get going, but like I said, you guys get a chance to check out the Sports Stand on WBGR on Thursdays at 2 p.m. My main man, Felix Passy. Thanks for joining us today, Felix.
All right. Thanks. My pleasure.
All righty. Have a good one, pal.
Call ended.
All righty. Let's move on to our next game. And our next game is, I also told you guys last week that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the best 6-6 team in all of the NFL. Now they're 7-6, and they're now in first place in the NFC South after beating the Raiders, James Las Vegas Raiders, 28-13. Baker Mayfield is getting it done in Tampa, and they're starting to get healthy at the right time with the return of his Hall of Fame receiver, Mike Evans. Trust me, this is the team that nobody wants to face. I'm telling you, right, this is the team that nobody wants to face, man. Baker has totally revived his career. We just got through talking about, when you get a quarterback and he's not in the right system, he's just gonna look bad, man. It is. It's almost like, it's like I can operate this machinery, but I can't necessarily operate this machinery. This machinery doesn't fit me, okay? And that's all it is. And Baker's in the right system. Sam Darnold's in the right system, and it's showing. But you get a quarterback and in the wrong system. Case in point, look how Caleb Williams in Chicago has developed after getting just a new offensive coordinator. And sometimes it's just that simple. And we talk about Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell being the quarterback whisperer. Well, obviously some things have changed for the Panthers with Bryce Young, and absolutely Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Baker is getting it done, and this is a scary football team. And I'm telling you guys right now, nobody is going to want to play this team in the playoffs. If they go ahead, I think they're going to hold on. I think they're clearly the best team in that division, and I think this is a team nobody wants to play. Let's move on to our next game. Our next game was a big divisional rivalry. We had the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals waited until week 19 to show their real true colors. With their destiny in their own hands, they choked. They choked against the Seahawks and fell 30-18. Kyler Murray let his boys down in this one. The QB has to manage the game and at times play like a point guard, but he also got to be able to win a game when needed. and he folded like a house of cards, like we knew that he would. The division is the Seattle Seahawks to win or lose now. Zach Charbonnet had a game high 193 yards from scrimmage on Sunday with 2 TDs to boot. You know, Seattle's pretty much in the catbird seat. It's pretty much up to them to see what they're going to do. And you know, this division, you know, I want to say that this division, like I said, it is the Seattle to finish, but Seattle has one of the toughest finishing schedules in all of the NFL, and they still got to play in the interdivision rivals in the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals, and I think they got the Buffalo Bills coming up. They got some tough games coming up. So, you know, they're 2 games up right now, but they can easily fall back. And you know, my 49ers are in last place. And, you know, believe it or not, they're not even out of it. But man, this division is up for grabs. If I had to take a guess right now, I really like what the Rams are doing in that division. I think the Rams are the best team in that division. Let's move on to our next game and let's get to my beloved San Francisco 49ers. Uh, my 49ers are they're injured and they just don't have it in 2024. But they're still better than the Bears. They punished Chicago 38-18. The starters were out of the game at the end of the third quarter. After 2 consecutive blowout losses, the 49ers improved to 6-7 and keep their dim playoff hopes alive. They're 2 games back of the division leaders, Seattle Seahawks, and they're 1 game behind the LA Rams. Like I said, the Seahawks have one of the toughest remaining schedules, though. Like I said, in the NFL, like I said, as a matter of fact, they got to play the Packers, they got to play the Vikings, and they got to play the Rams over the final 4 weeks of the season. And like I said, I think a wild card spot is out of reach for any of these teams. If they don't win the division, none of these teams are going to be in the playoffs. They'd have to somehow, like I said, win the weak NFC West. Like I said, I like the Rams coming out of that division as the champs of the NFC West. But you know, I just think it's just too little too late for my San Francisco 49ers. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just too much. But I like the Rams, and that kind of sets me up right into the next game. Alrighty. Hey now. Tom the Bomb. Look, Tom, I got my chest puffed out. Tom the Bomb upset pick of the week. I told you guys last week, upset pick of the week paid off in spades as the Rams defeated the Bills in the highest scoring game of the year so far. 44-42 in a track meet. Easily the best game of the week. And even in defeat, Josh Allen did nothing to harm his quest for his first NFL MVP award. I guarantee you right now, December 9th, 2024 at 6:52 p.m. Eastern, that the Buffalo Bills will lose to Mother Wig's Chiefs in the AFC playoffs. Their defense didn't show up again, and late coaching decisions that ripped open some Sean McDermott scar tissue from previous blunders that have killed past Super Bowl hopes. The Bills are pretenders. Again, I say the Bills are pretenders. They're the prettiest girl that never gets married. Okay, that's who the Bills are. In a game that was a must-win for the Rams, running back Kyren Williams and Puka Nacua, my favorite name. I just like saying that. Puka Nacua delivered big time along with their gunslinger, Matthew Stafford. Puka Nacua is the LA Rams igniter with a season-high 12 catches for 162 yards receiving. And he had 2 TDs. He's what Deebo Samuels used to be for the 49ers. This Ram team is on the rise. They're on the go. And you know, I want to talk a little bit about the Bills. Like I said, Josh Allen is having an MVP type season, but I'm telling you guys right now, man, the Bills are pretenders. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, don't be surprised when you wake up and Pittsburgh shows up in the snow and dusts off the Buffalo Bills. So I'm telling you guys, and I'm watching some of the sports shows during the day, and everybody's, because people are still poo-pooing on Mother Wig's Kansas City Chiefs at 12-1. they don't know no better. Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they do. But and they're all picking the Bills. They're all falling in love with Josh Allen. I'm telling you guys, they're pretenders. They're fakers. They're fakers like the Lakers. The Bills are not the ones. If you're putting your chips in on the Buffalo Bills, you are going to be disappointed. Okay. All righty. And let's move on to the Sunday night game, which was Mother Wig's Kansas City Chiefs versus their divisional rival, the Los Angeles Chargers. Shocker alert! Shocker alert! Kansas City pulls out another close win to capture the AFC West crown. Yeah, Captain Obvious, you tell us something we don't know. Winning with a field goal that doinked off the left upright, but slithered through for a 19-17 win over the frustrated Chargers. With the win, the Chiefs clinched their 9th straight AFC West title. They now have a 2-game lead over the Bills, who lost to the Rams, and the Steelers for the #1 seed in the AFC. The Chargers battled hard and had a shot to win, but like everyone else who thought they had Mahomes and the Chiefs on the ropes, but just couldn't land the knockout blow and ended up with another heartbreaking loss in the end. The Chiefs are barely winning these games. They're barely winning these games. Who cares? Who cares? The key word in that sentence is they're winning. They just keep winning. Just win, baby. That's what Al Davis used to say. Just win, baby. And they are getting it done. I'm watching these so-called experts get up and First Take, and they're all just kind of like, man, look, they're in the NFL. 12-1 ain't no fluke. Yes, they have won some games crazy. I think the last 2 weeks in a row, Lori, that they've won 19-17. If you can remember, the Raiders had them beat last week on a bad snap. But you don't get to 12-1 and be lucky like that. And you know what? You can, because I kind of feel that, to be honest with you, I kind of feel that way about the Vikings. And Sam Darnold's having a great year, but Sam Darnold was not Patrick Mahomes. And the funny thing is, Patrick Mahomes is not having a Patrick Mahomes year. He's really not. Travis Kelce is down. They got Pacheco back, and that really, really helps. But I'm telling you, man, when the dust settles, Mother Wig, your Chief's gonna be there. And look, you can take it from Tom the Bomb, because number one, Tom the Bomb is not a Chiefs fan. You guys know I'm a 49er fan. But hey, man, the champ is the champ for a reason. And you don't win a split decision against the champ. You got to knock the champ out. And until somebody shows up in Kansas City in December and beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, I'll see it when I believe it. Until then, I'm going with Mother Wig's Kansas City Chiefs. All righty, let's get to tonight. Tonight at 8:15 p.m. on ESPN. I'm actually excited about this Monday night game. I'm usually a little tired after the show, but I'm excited about this one because the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Dallas Cowgirls, and I'm excited about this because I believe that the Bengals are going to go ahead and crush all of these Cowgirl hopes. People having delusions of grandeur, thinking that Cowboys still have a chance. Give them a chance, honey. No, they got no chance. Slim and none, and both of them just went out the door. So let's get to our Week 15 picks. Tom, did you guys not hear? I'm taking the Bengals on this one. Yeah, I think so. So let's get to our Week 15 picks. Let's start off with the Thursday night game. Gonna be a great Thursday night game. We got the LA Rams versus Tom the Bomb San Francisco 49ers. This is a must win for both teams. And listen, guys, you guys know, y'all know I want to take the 49ers in this game. But I just told you that the Rams is the best team in this division. And here's the deal. My 49ers are just too hurt. They're too injured. I mean, they have an all-pro team on the injured list. I mean, if you look at the players on their injured list, it's a number of all pros. And I'm going to be rooting everything for my Niners in this game. But when it comes down to picking, take the Rams. Okay, take the Rams in this one. And you guys know this hurts me. to be saying this publicly on the air. But take the Rams over my Niners. But Tom the Bomb is going to be rooting for his Niners. So, but take the Rams on this one. Hey, the Washington Commanders have finally got a bye. They need the rest. And so the Commanders are taking on the New Orleans Saints. Tom the Bomb likes the Commanders in this one. Take the Commanders. You know, the Commanders need at least 2 more wins to go ahead and lock down that last playoff spot. And I think they'll get it. You know, they got the Saints coming up. They got the Carolina Panthers, which we know the Carolina Panthers aren't no joke because we just saw them almost beat Mother Wigs Kansas City Chiefs, and they should have beaten Philadelphia Eagles. So if Washington goes in there and takes either one of these teams for granted, they can easily lose them. But it's right there for the Commanders to. They can almost, you can smell it, you can touch it. You just need 2 more W's, and you guys are in the playoffs. Playoffs? Washington in the playoffs? Yeah, believe it, man. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. It hit me on the head, and Washington is gonna be in the playoffs. Yippee! Our next game is the Mother Wigs Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cleveland Browns. Listen, man. What's your quarterback that you like there in Cleveland? What's his name?
Jameis Winston.
Let's take a minute and pray for Jameis Winston. Did you want to say something about Jameis Winston, my Lord? Let's just take a moment of silence for Jameis Winston. Man, listen, you know, when Jameis Winston flew with the Buccaneers, he had 30 touchdown passes and he had 30 interceptions. Jameis, I love you, Jameis, but you just got to cut down on the NITs, man. Who do you think you are, Kirk Cousins? Take Mother Wigs Chiefs over the Browns in this one. That's not real hard. Then we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Titans. This will be a tough game, but Tom the Bomb is going to take the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is still playing like an MVP. Our next game is the Miami Dolphins versus the Houston Texans. Tom the Bomb is taking the Texans over the Dolphins. You guys know I got a crush on the Texans. Then we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the G-Men. Listen, if the Ravens lose this, if the Ravens lose this game, you guys should officially know that the NFL is fixed. Take the Ravens in this one. This is your lock of the week. The Ravens over the Giants. If Baltimore walks off the field, I don't know if the Giants can score. Our next game is the New York Jets versus the Jaguars. Check this out. The Jags have lost 5 in a row. They won last week. The Jags are going to put a winning streak together. They're going to win back-to-back. Take them over Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2 in a row. Woohoo! Next, we got the Dallas Cowgirls versus the Carolina Panthers. You know, I really felt like that Dallas would take this game, but I'm telling you, the way the Panthers have been playing, Tom the Bomb's going to take the Panthers in this one over the Cowgirls. Then we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the LA Chargers. Let me tell you something. This is going to be one of the best games of the week. You know, you guys know I've been kind of talking really highly of the Bucs. I like the Bucs, but man, the Chargers are serious, man. I think this might be the best game of the week. But Tom the Bomb's going to take the Bucs. You know, I like Harbaugh. I like what they're doing in Los Angeles. But I'm going to take the Bucs. This is a column. This is a flip game. But Tom the Bomb is going with the Bucs on this one. Then we got the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos bounce back because the Broncos play over the Colts. Take the Broncos on this one. And then we got the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. Let's stop here for a minute because, you know, if you look at this game, I think it's real easy to say I'm going to take the Cardinals and Arizona this. But I'm telling you guys, the Patriots have been playing hard every single week, and the coach is doing such a good job. I like the Patriots in an upset over the Arizona Cardinals, and I think this pretty much squashes the Cardinals for the rest of the season. But Tom Bomb's going to take the Patriots on this one. Then we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Lions. Now, I said that the Tampa Bay and the Chargers game was going to be the best, but this is the one you're going to get your popcorn ready. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Detroit Lions. And what did I just tell you guys, Earl? What did I just tell you guys? Didn't I tell you guys that the Bills were pretenders? You know, all these sports analysts falling in love with Josh Allen and the Bills. Take the Lions in this one, man. And I'm telling you, I think the Bucs and the Chargers are going to be a better game because I think the Lions are going to announce their presence with authority in this game. I think the Lions are going to announce their presence with authority. Take the Lions in this one. And I think you guys are going to see that I think the Bills are pretenders. I think they're fake. Take the Lions in this one. Our next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the Battle of Pennsylvania. Woo, woo, sweet. You know what? I like the Steelers in this game. Who do you like in this one, Lori?
I think it's up for grabs.
Oh.
It's up for grabs. It's really whether or not the Steelers shut down Saquon Barkley, because if they are able to shut them down, Russell is just lighting it up, and Jalen not so much the last several games. So
you guys hear Dr. Lauren? I told you, don't let the smooth taste fool you. You know, she got all that brains, but she knows sports too. Don't let it. So it's up in the air. So are you taking a pick? Who are you picking?
I'm gonna pick the Steelers.
Oh, she's going with her hubby. She's gonna take the Steelers. Yep.
We're one.
We are one. Yeah, we're gonna take the Steelers in this one over the Eagles. All you know, you Eagles fans out there are mad, but I'm going with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Our next game is the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. I told you guys that the Seahawks have probably the toughest schedule down the road. The Packers need this game. The Packers are a better team than the Seahawks. Take the Packers in this one. Then we got a couple of Monday night games for next week. We got Monday night game at 8 p.m. We got the Chicago Bears versus the Vikings. Who do you guys think we should take in this one? The Bears or the Vikings? The Bears or the Vikings? The Bears are the Vikings. The Bears are the Vikings. I'm so confused. Who do you think?
The Bears season has already started to hibernate.
Lori says the Bears are already hibernating. Look, Gus gonna be here next week. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be laying it on him too, boy. Take the Vikings in this one. The other Monday night game is the Atlanta Falcons versus James Las Vegas Raiders. And man, I think Kirk Cousins bounces back and gets the win over the Raiders. The Raiders are playing much better ball, but I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, the Raiders are in the number one spot for the number one draft pick, and they got their eyes totally focused on Shedeur Sanders as their number one pick. The Raiders are tanking. Take the Falcons in this one, man. Hey, gang, look, that's our show for today. We didn't have any trivia questions. We do want to say, do we want to come on and wish our brother happy birthday? Today is our brother Adam's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Adam. Happy birthday to you. And Adam's getting married too. He's getting married too. There you go, my man. Congratulations. Happy birthday, Adam. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. Congrats. Happy birthday, my brother. All righty. Like I said, we didn't have any trivia. Hey, listen, don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. And you can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. Again, that's info@tomthebombsports.com. If you have any questions or anything, you can all shoot us an email. Hey, look, for a dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Felix Bassie. Future so bright, he gotta wear shades. Hey man, look, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but Lori and I sure do appreciate you, and we thank you for spending your time with us. We know you could have spent your time anywhere, and we so appreciate you spending time with us. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour an abundance of blessings down on you where there won't be room enough to contain it. Living off the overflow, enough that you can't even contain it. Living off the floor. You ain't even drinking off the cup. You just drinking out the salsa because it's overflowing. Look, remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and he rose on the third day, not a Thursday, just for you. Right, Lori? Just for you. If it was just you, he still would have sent him for you. Listen, remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. God bless you. We'll see you on this same bat time, on this same bat station. God bless you. We'll see you guys. Have a good evening. See ya.
Daughter of mine, this is your time.
all about. For a long time, I've held this water in. Let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times. Look again, cause the miracles are mine. Stir the water, I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda. Let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give sight